Okay, so I'm here today. I'm going to talk about dogs. Yes, we know dogs are amazing, right? We love our dogs. They're great fun. They're very intelligent. All of those things. True, true, true. But today, I want to talk about this in a dog. Because you probably already know, but if you don't, they have an amazing sense of smell. Like 100 times greater than ours. They can sniff things out from like kilometres, right? The point is, that's how your dog finds that little snippet of food way down in another room, in the kitchen or whatever, because they have this amazing ability. We'll never match it, not in a million years, right? But dogs all over the world have been utilised for this very attribute. So if we think about search and rescue, if someone goes missing, then they often use like bloodhounds to sniff out the whereabouts of a missing person just from the scent of, say, their clothing or, something that belongs to them. Also in rescue, sadly to say, if it's a landslide or flooding or there's an earthquake, they use dogs to use the nose to sniff out people that they can tell the difference between if they're past or alive. So if they're no longer living, the dog will have a different reaction to if they deem that person alive. So if they're searching under rubble. So if we can't get to them without removing all that with heavy artillery and all this sort of stuff, we've got to remove it with bulldozers and things like that. And it's too intricate because we may actually be injuring somebody if they're alive. That's how much they rely on the dogs. Now, you've all been at airports, surely, and you'll see dogs there because they're sniffing out, quarantine items, whether it be nuts and berries and things you shouldn't bring into the country or the state. They're there to sniff that out. But they also work for police, which then doubles up at the airport as well, to do with narcotics. So if people are hiding drugs or have drugs on them, dogs can sniff that out, right? Amazing stuff. Because, without that, it would make it very difficult for police officers just to go up to someone saying, I want to search something. It just cuts to the chase. It's really, really good. Now I want you to think about health. Dogs have been used to smell out cancer. Apparently they can smell your breath and tell whether you have a cancer. As yet, I don't know that they can tell the type of cancer or this and that, but the fact that they can do that, that is amazing. All this medical research, and we're using a dog's nose to help us find that out. Now, that is massive because then we can go on and do further tests and find out the results for somebody. And it could actually, they've detected it really in the early stages. That's what's so amazing. But what I was really interested in telling you is that the Greek government has decided to actually train dogs to sniff out cash, so that large sums of money cannot be transported from one place to another via a person without them knowing about it. Of course, the dog has to be present. So imagine that, sniffing out a tax dodger. What will they think of next? This is like endless. So, cash. You have cash on you? Dogs can sniff it out. That's what their new thing is. So dogs are used for all sorts of things because of their wonderful capabilities. I just hope we as humans appreciate it. But just listen to this. I have an idea. I know, that's dangerous, right? I have an idea. What if, first I appeal to the girls out there. If we could get dogs, train them to sniff out the perfect partner. Could you imagine it? The man that is thoughtful, respectful, gentle, caring. All these list of admirable things that you want in your next partner. Imagine, just imagine, if a dog could sniff that out. Of course, it could get awkward if you have to take your dog to a bar. I mean, that could be awkward. But at least process of elimination. You don't even have to go through those awkward moments or those times when, oh my God, you know, how do I get out of this? You know, I'm not enjoying this. This could eliminate everything. We could do dog speed dating. You wouldn't even have to be out there. You could put the dog in one chair, pass the partners through. You know, the same can work for you guys. Whether it's guys or girls, it doesn't matter. You can have the various different sexes pass through that you've trained them for, and your dog will pick the one. Now, online dating could be just a thing of the past, because your dog's not going to lie. Your dog is going to tell the truth, because dogs always do. Dogs don't lie. Isn't that awesome? So I've just really thought of a way of finding the perfect partner and training a dog to do that, if it wouldn't mind, and problem solved. We would have happy partnerships everywhere. I'm very happy with myself now, coming up with that great idea, and thank you to the dogs. So now we just have to work out how to train them and problem solved. Awesome. I'm happy. So thanks so much for watching the channel. Really appreciate it. Please get on our Facebook page, share it with all your friends, and remember, everyone's an animal whisperer. You just have to listen.